back to Let's Talk. My name is John, and with me today is Dennis, and we're going to have a little bit of a debate here on the channel because Halloween 1978 is considered one of the biggest classic films of all time, one that started the slasher genre, or at least made it famous, and then in 2007, Rob Zombie decided to remake that classic film and make it its own. And me and Dennis fall on separate sides of the tracks on this one, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. So, Dennis, what do you think of John Carpenter's 1978 classic?
I love it.
Yeah.
We have had, spooky season, we've done a lot of videos about horror movies. I think that this film is just, it's so important. Even if you look past everything it did for just like the Michael Myers character and everything, it's so important in horror. I think there's a few movies you can really point out. You know, there's like Nosferatu, Frankenstein, Psycho, and then there's Halloween. Halloween came out and took the world by storm, and it really set the foundation for slashers moving forward. I mean, it was the success of Halloween that spawned Friday the 13th.
Yep.
And then that turned into Nightmare, which turned into all these other films. So I would be remiss if I didn't give it all the credit it deserved, because it really, to me, it might not be your favorite, my favorite, anyone out there's favorite film of all time, but you cannot undersell the importance of this thing.
No, I mean, it's a masterpiece on its own. It stars Jamie Lee Curtis, put her on the map. You know, this movie was made for such a low budget. If you ever watched the making of and what they had to do, the fact that we actually got a classic out of this, it doesn't even have like a lot of the horror tropes you'd expect. Like, yes, it does have those tropes, but there's not a lot of gore. Nope. There's almost no gore, and that was intentional. Mm-hmm. You know, you built up like this sense of dread, and it's just a guy out there killing, and you have no idea why. This is before we find out in Halloween 2 that Jamie Lee Curtis is his sister who got adopted by another family after what happened. He's just the Shape in this movie, and that's why I love it. Even in the credits, he's labeled the Shape. We know he's Mike Myers. We got Dr. Loomis in this movie, played by the great Donald Pleasance, and he does a fantastic job.
You mean you actually never want him to get out?
Never. Eventually, in 2007, Rob Zombie, who was known for making very different horror movies, he loves those piece of shit rednecks. And then he decided to make Halloween 07. I saw it in theaters, and I didn't love it. And I think you did.
So I did. I did like it. Now, I understand why you don't. Mm-hmm. So I would like for you to first explain why you don't, so that I can counter that.
Okay, well, the reason why I don't like it is for the big reason why I love the original Halloween. It's ambiguous. We don't know why Michael Myers does what he does. At the very beginning of the movie, they take that mask off, and it looks like just a regular kid living in suburban America with good parents. His dad's like wearing a suit. I assume they're just out to dinner, and they come home, and their young son just killed his older sister, and what the fuck are they going to do? It's just a regular family. It doesn't make sense. And then we just explain it off as this, he's pure evil. He's just killing. We don't know why. He's just a force of nature, the Shape. And then we get to Rob Zombie's Halloween, and we have to explain the fact that the reason why he's doing all this is because he had a horrible mother, doing the best she can, but she's horrible, dating a piece of shit. I have no idea why she stays with him. Everybody in this town, it seems like just bad to him. Like, they're bullying him. He likes masks, but he's just like he's kind of a lost soul that's just getting beat down, and then eventually he turns into Michael Myers. So that, for me, I just didn't need all that explained. And the second half of the movie is just a retread of the first movie, in my opinion. So, and I knew this, you had that opinion. So this is what I will say. Rob Zombie had the gift of hindsight, right? Where he could look and say, here's every single Halloween movie ever made, and here is Michael Myers' complete story. Whereas when the first one came out, they only had the idea of the Shape. Who knows if John Carpenter's plan was to actually make 2, 3, 4, 5 movies out of it. He may have only wanted to make one where you never investigate Michael, but then he made a second, and it got a little deeper into him. And the more they went, the more they dove in. So what Rob Zombie did to defend his actions in making this film is he took the completed story of Michael, which is this kid who killed his family and whatever, and what he did was really just explore it more, because really when you get into later Halloweens, they do, like, you get to know Michael more. You get to understand his background more and everything like that. So really, Rob Zombie just took it and was like, all right, here's the deal. I want to kind of make this my own, because I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe when Rob Zombie was kind of greenlit to do it, he reached out to John Carpenter. He did.
And was like, hey man, I'm doing this, what do you think? And John Carpenter said, make it your own. Rob Zombie's a very divisive director. You love him or hate him. And the people who hate him, they fucking hate him.
Actually, what's weird is I'm very mixed on Rob Zombie. There's some movies of his that I absolutely love. Like, and they're the weird ones that people probably don't love as much. Like, I think 3 from Hell is the best of the Firefly trilogy. And I think 31 is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love 31.
Like, those movies are great. And yes, he has a very distinct style to him. Like, you watch it, you know, he puts all the same actors in, including his wife,
Always.
who's in this movie. And I've never thought she was a good actress. And it's very distracting to me. But most of the other supporting players that he brings in, they're always pretty good. You know, very much like he clearly was inspired by the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Hills Have Eyes, like those 70s horror movies that kind of have like this documentary style to them, and everything looks washed out and dirty. And, you know, that's his style. And I'll admit, that style doesn't really work for me. But he does have a few that slip in.
Yeah, but with this, I think it's ironic because there are people like you who hate this Halloween because of that. He changed the story of Michael a little bit to explore him more and make him come from a broken home, to almost make him more like a compassionate character where you're like, this poor kid, like, I get why he kills people. I think he was smart in doing that, because how do you think you'd feel if he just went and did a shot-for-shot remake?
No, okay. Well, actually, this brings me to a good point about this, because this is where I do agree with you. And I've defended doing remakes in the past for this very same reason. You're not erasing the original.
Nope.
So I don't mind that actually he remade this. That doesn't bother me at all. I just don't like the movie. But him actually remaking it does not offend me at all. Where you can remake a movie every single year. It's just, you know, you're not taking the original away from me.
You try to take this thing away from me, I'll sock you straight in the face.
I mean, I don't see the logic in it. I think it's pretty stupid, but you know what? Go for it. As long as you don't do a shot-for-shot remake like they did with Psycho. That's the dumbest thing. Definitely try and make it feel special.
Yeah, and I think that's what he did. And now listen, how do you change the Halloween story while still being true to the original story? You know, there's not a lot you can do regarding Michael and the killing and the, you know, like, you can't change the mask, you can't change the location, you can't change him killing babysitters. That's Michael. So the only thing he could really do to make it his own is change Michael's origin. Slightly. I mean, and it is pretty slight, because, you know, we do learn that Michael, instead of having, you know, a regular family dynamic, he's grown up like in a poor home with a stripper mom and a drunk stepdad or whatever, and he kills all of them. So there are slight changes to it, and maybe he dives a little too deep into it to build up who he is and why he is the way he is. But I think it was smart to do that because, again, if you just shot-for-shot remake it with new actors and stuff, people will be pissed.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I will defend this movie and say it's not bad, because he did what he had to do to make it his own. However, with that in mind, there are certain films that I just feel like you don't remake. You know, if something is a classic the way that Halloween is, you don't need to remake it, you don't need to reboot it, you don't need any of that. It's the same thing, like, they've never remade Jaws.
No.
Could you imagine the outrage if they could you imagine the outrage if they decided, I know you're a big Terminator guy, if they were like, this is Terminator. It's not a sequel, a prequel. This is new, and Arnold isn't the robot. It's somebody else, but it's a shot-for-shot remake of the first.
I'll be pissed if they do that. I know, and it's gonna happen, and you need to prepare yourself, and all the Jaws and Terminator fans need to prepare themselves. At some point in the next 20 years, they're gonna remake those movies.
Yeah.
Because the directors of the originals are gonna start dying off, and these rights are just sitting in these studios' laps, and they don't know how to say no to money.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do it.
Yep.
We gotta prepare ourselves. They will not live up to your nostalgia for the originals, and it's the same thing with this. Like, I get it, and yes, John Carpenter gave his blessing, and John Carpenter's just a very nonchalant guy. All he likes to do right now is smoke pot and play video games and watch basketball. I love the man for that, by the way. I respect that. That's what I would do if I was a celebrity who's done. He can't do more to cement his legacy. So he's kind of a dick in interviews because he clearly doesn't want to be there. He just wants to do what he wants to do. But I respect the fact that he's like, yeah, I don't care. Go ahead, remake it. You know, I kind of I always hate it when some people are just so overprotective and they don't let anyone touch anything. It's like, you know, at least John Carpenter's a cool, laid-back guy. And said, man, Rob, why don't you go do your thing?
Yeah, and that's why I think that this is fine. He got the blessing. But again, it's another film that you didn't need to remake. There's so many, listen, I get it, because if you watch our Friday the 13th videos, you know that I'm pro the 2009 remake because it was so good. But that's because the Friday the 13th series kind of got tossed around a lot, you know. And the first one, while it was good and set the tone, it wasn't a masterclass in filmmaking. You know, Halloween, everyone who's ever seen that film says that there is nothing wrong with that film.
Totally.
Oh yeah, there's nothing. It's a perfect film. It is
Yeah.
like a 10 out of 10 classic. It's just structured perfectly.
Yeah, so don't remake it. You know, and we're getting into the territory now where we're getting in the later years where it's like soon Scream is going to be the same age, if it's not already, as Halloween was when Rob Zombie remade it. So are they going to just go and make a reboot of Scream? Like,
I mean, I would not be surprised. It's just leaving money on the table for all these studios. Like, I get what they were doing with this movie, and then obviously Halloween. Like, we got to talk a little bit about the fact that Rob Zombie did his 2 movies, and then they went back years later, and now David Gordon Green has done his trilogy of movies, which basically negate a even big plot point that's in the Rob Zombie ones, where Laurie Strode is actually his sister. They removed that, so Laurie in these ones is no connection. So the Halloween franchise as it is very convoluted. I think there's like 4 different timelines at this point if you include Halloween 3. So they're all over the place.
yeah, and I think that's the confusing thing too, is like right now, if you follow it, I'm pretty sure it's like you have to watch Halloween and maybe Halloween 2 and then skip everything in between and go to was it like 2018 when they released the Halloween?
No, it's just Halloween, then 2018's Halloween, and then Halloween Kills, and
Halloween
then ends, which we don't talk about.
So it cuts out Halloween 2.
Yeah, everything after that. But then if you go for the other one, it's Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 4, 5, 6, H2O Resurrection, then wipe that one off.
Yeah.
And then Halloween 1 and 2 for Rob Zombie.
So that's 3 right there. And then Season of the Witch is technically a 4th because it doesn't have Michael Myers.
No,
but
it's just its own entity on its own, which shouldn't be called Halloween 3, which we've talked about.
we have, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I get it. But with that in mind, I guess, do you want to do a rating of these?
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to, like, what do you mean, rank them all?
No, I mean, like, compared, 1 to 10, what would you rate the first? And 1 to 10, what would you rate Rob Zombie's?
Original is a 10 out of 10. Rob Zombie's is a 3.5 out of 10.
Damn, okay. Well, we agree on the original, 10 out of 10. Perfect to me in every way. I'm going to give Rob Zombie like I go 6.5.
I thought you would actually go a little higher. I really thought you enjoyed this movie more than that.
I do. It's just...
Like, don't get me wrong. Don't let me sell anyone's love of this, including yours, short.
Yeah.
Just because I don't like this movie, you are more than welcome to love it.
Yeah, I mean, I still like it. I think the thing is he lost me with the second one.
Second one's bad.
It's just horrible.
I saw that with you. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, horrible. He's not wearing the mask 90% of the time.
I mean, that's one thing I wanted to just, I don't want to, like, sell Rob Zombie short. Like, he tries things.
Yeah.
He does. He doesn't always stick. No. But at least he does try. He did definitely take a hard swing, a hard left turn with the first Halloween movie, and then he made a fucking hard right turn for Halloween 2.
Yeah, missed the mark for that one. But I think the original's better, 100% a better movie. But I think if you're into remakes, Rob Zombie's is not bad. It's worth a watch. To at least see what you think.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it to try it. These are the Rob Zombie Halloweens are the only Halloween movies now that aren't on 4K, which is very disappointing. So the only way you can get them is buy them on their own or in the nice Scream Factory Halloween set. Nice. But that's going to do it here for us on another episode of Original versus Remake, bringing back an old series for us, which we're going to probably do more of these in the future. But you know what? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and now I'm going to kick it over to Future John for this week's Digital Code giveaway.
Fuck you, Future John.
And fuck you too, past Dennis. But that is correct. It is Monday, and that means it's time for our Digital Code giveaway. And if you just happen to be stumbling to the end of this video and you're asking yourself, what is the Digital Code giveaway? Well, we do this every single week here on the channel. In Friday's video, I ask you guys 2 Digital Code giveaway questions. All you gotta do is answer one of those in the comments section below, and as long as you do that, you came back to this video right here. I put your name on a magic wheel. I spun that wheel 2 times. The 2 names it landed on, they have their choice of the digital codes that you've seen on your screen before you today. And I asked you guys, what was your favorite music biopic of all time? And I asked you guys also, what was your favorite young and up-and-coming actor or actress? And for music biopic, I was actually pretty surprised. A lot of you guys picked Walk the Line and Ray, which is funny because that's exactly where my mind goes to when it comes to music biopics. I just remember that era in the mid-2000s where we were getting like one of those each and every year. And we got Ray and Walk the Line back-to-back years, and Jamie Foxx won the Academy Award. And really, Joaquin Phoenix didn't win for Walk the Line just because they didn't want to reward the same performance in their mind. They're very different performances, and both of them are world-class. So it's really unfortunate that Joaquin Phoenix almost didn't win just because of basically Hollywood politics. But they would make it up to him with Joker, so Joaquin Phoenix, I'm sure, is doing all right. Honestly, though, my choice would still be Amadeus from the mid-'80s. That's my favorite music biopic of all time. Obviously, I didn't see it till I got a little bit older. I wasn't around when it first came out. I would have said Walk the Line until I saw that, but I've seen Amadeus about 3 or 4 times now, and that movie is just an absolute masterpiece. So that would be my choice. So if you guys haven't seen Amadeus, I highly recommend that. And as far as for young and up-and-coming actors and actresses, we saw a lot for Jenna Ortega, which doesn't surprise me. She really is going to be a star. She cemented that with her performance in Wednesday. It really was one of those things where you're like, that's a movie star in the making. And she really just absolutely nailed it. But enough of me rambling on. Let's spin this magic wheel and see who our 2 lucky winners are. First wheel spin coming up.
Taking the elevator, going up. Got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top, keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up, I'm coming up.
Hello, your virus. Alright. Gonna remove you. Spin again.
Whoa, taking the elevator, going up. Got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top, keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up, I'm coming up.
And Michael Reyes. And our 2 winners are Michael Reyes and Hello, Your Virus, which is awesome. Hello has just been entering only for a few weeks now, or maybe a couple months. I'm not 100% sure, but congratulations on your first digital code giveaway win. Michael Reyes, you've won in the past before, and you guys might know how this works by now. Reach out to me at my email address, letstalkentmt@gmail.com, or you can always reach out to me at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter/X, and just let me know which of the digital codes you want. And as long as the other winner didn't take that digital code is all yours. And I actually just got a digital code for Big Hero 6 from Rogue1677, so thank you so much, buddy, for donating that code. And I also just got a code in because I just grabbed the 4K Blu-ray for $10 off of Amazon, Evil Dead Rises. So even though it's not on the list, you guys can pick those codes as well, because I just got them in. And also look for Evil Dead Rise 4K Blu-ray review coming pretty soon. Can't wait to check that one out. Didn't enjoy the movie as much as I had hoped the first time I saw it, but hey, you know what? Things can change, and I'm very hopeful that they do. And that's going to do it here for us here on another episode of Let's Talk. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we also have channel memberships now, so you can click that join button or hit the link in the description below. Pick a tier that works for you, but there is absolutely no pressure for you to do it, but we would absolutely really appreciate it. But after you're done doing all of that, just make sure you guys get out in those streets, tell your friends about us, and then just enjoy your day, and we'll be seeing you around.